Greetings to the video. I'm laughing already because this video is going to be all my errors that I've ever made over the years, because in my video where I did like 10 years, I picked like 5 of my favourite adventures that I'd been on. One of you had said, it was Richard Lake actually, had said, why don't you pick your 5 like worst rides or the things that have gone wrong? And I just thought, you know what, it's like a little trip down memory lane of all my toughest, hardest, biggest mess ups of my cycling, just to give you a little bit of a laugh and know that you're not alone. So the first one is Tenerife. Long story short, I got there really late at night. I'd not really been riding that long at that point. Tried to go up Teide, which is like, what, 30k climb? We'd only planned to go about halfway, and I just got like, no, let's go the whole way. I barely had any sleep. I'd not drank anything. It was baking hot, and I just got into a mess. I ended up throwing up. I was in the bushes, like using the bathroom in the bushes. It was not great. I felt absolutely horrific.
I can't. This is the worst I've ever felt. I feel awful.
No, you do. It's because you won't drink that salt.
I've drank it.
That's a lesson not to go and go crazy your first day, going somewhere really hot, somewhere that you've never been, and just going all out. So don't do it, because you'll end up like this. The next one, All Points North. The first year that I did it, I think it was, what, 2019? I can't remember. If you don't know what it is, it's a 1,000k unsupported ultra event, and it's really hilly. It had loads of checkpoints. One of them was at the top of Great Dun Fell, which is the highest paved road in England. It's like 600 metres, and the weather up there can be horrific. And I checked the forecast before, and it said like 50-mile-an-hour winds, and I was like, there's no way it's going to be 50-mile-an-hour winds. It was. I walked half of it because I was like, I want to get to the top. I want to complete this challenge. I want to do this event. I got to the top. The wind took, literally my bike was in the air. Like I couldn't hold my bike down, and I panicked. I think probably from lack of sleep, lack of eating loads. It was just really terrifying and scary, and I cried, and I had hardly any battery left on my phone. I was like, what am I going to do? No one knows I'm up here. I'm really scared. The little bit of battery I had, I rang to get help. I ended up having to get a lift down to the bottom. That still is the most scared that I've ever been on a bike, because I've never been in winds like that, and it's giving me a little bit of like scaredness of the wind. So for me, the lesson is check the wind before you're going to go up somewhere really high, and just be careful. Don't do something silly. The third one, Great Escapades. This is in the North and South Downs, off-road. Me, myself, Kate and Ange, who actually is the organiser for All Points North. We went and did this. It was a really long, tough off-road gravel, definitely not gravel, event. But it was in summer, and it was when all there was like thunderstorms and floods, and I actually don't think the mess up was me. I think the mess up was just the weather and the conditions. That still stands as the hardest, toughest ride that I've ever done. Whenever I have a bad day on the bike, I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't Great Escapades, because it was so wet. I was wet through from literally the very start. It was 24 hours. We bailed at 24 hours. I was like, I'm not riding this anymore. I'm so fed up. I'd fallen off my bike into the bushes, so I was covered in mud from the start. I'd bent the rear mech, so my gears wouldn't shift properly, and it was really hilly. And I remember there was like one section where you couldn't ride. It was in this forest, and it was so steep that we couldn't physically push our bike. We had to cling onto a tree and like pass our bikes between each other to be able to get up it. It was just, oh my God, I will never ever do it again. If you've done it, let me know what the event is. That you found, or the ride on the bike that you found really difficult. In fact, leave all your most like tough days on a bike in the comments, because I think it is quite funny, because it's just like, we always think it goes perfectly well, and a lot of the time it does not. Right, the next one, my first 400k ride. So I'd got into endurance riding, I was doing 200s, I'd done my first 300, I was like, right, let's crank it up, let's go. Crank it up, who am I? Let's do a 400k. And at that point, I didn't know about like banking sleep before you do these long overnight events. Because obviously 400k, I can't remember what time we started, but it was going to take like maybe 24 hours. I can't remember, but you'd ride through the night. First time I'd ever ridden through the night. And it was hellish. It was awful. I felt ill. I had stomachache. I had had to go to the toilet. I just felt really ill. And I think it was because I've not been used to that before. My body didn't know what was going on. I was just riding. I was probably eating rubbish. I'd taken loads of stuff on that ride as well. I got like a saddlebag of like potatoes because I was like, oh, I'm just going to try and eat really simply. So I just had a load of bloody baked potatoes in my bag. I'm like, I won't do that now. And I just remember like we'd ridden through the night. I'd kept having to have a little lie down. And all these videos will be linked below if you want to go and actually relive the whole thing. And I was laying on the ground, we carried on up this hill, and then we'd ridden through the night, and in the morning, I just remember it was cold in the night, so I'd got leg warmers and arm warmers on. And in the morning, I was laid on the grass, just like laid out like this. I couldn't, and I was sweating, I was like, I can't get them off. And this other guy had to like come and take my arm and leg warmers off because I physically couldn't move. I was like, I just can't pedal. And then when we started trying to ride, it was like my legs just would not go. I was just so exhausted and so tired. And I didn't realise at the time I had like clear glasses on, like sunglasses, just because I'd worn them through the night. And I was with my friend Darren, and I didn't think he could see me because I thought I had sunglasses on. I was just crying, and he looks over and he's like, Kate, I can see you crying. Why are you crying? I was like, it's just so hard. This is just the most difficult thing ever. So that was a rough, difficult. I finished it, and I was so proud. I was like, thank goodness I'm at the end. But it was a tough ride. The thing that I would learn from that is bank sleep. Before you're gonna do a big endurance event, you have to get loads of sleep in beforehand because that's important. The next one is actually from last summer, and this is no fault of my own, but I got like a massive swollen hand. Actually, it looks quite big at the camera. I got bit, or I banged it, or I did something, but my thumb swelled up. It was when we were on the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift. We were supporting, we were riding the routes. I couldn't ride. It was bad, and that was no fault of mine. I don't know what the heck happened, but my hand got ginormous. It was so painful. It's still not 100%, and that's like coming up to a year, but that's not fun. So what I would say for that is maybe take antihistamines. Did I take an antihistamine? I can't remember. I think I probably did. Just a bit of a mess, to be honest. That was not a fun that was not fun because I didn't end up riding anymore, and I couldn't ride up Tourmalet, which I'm like, oh. I had to go up in the car and I was like, this is beautiful, I wish I could ride. But I couldn't because my hand just wouldn't have held the bars and hold the brakes. But I'm going to make that right this year. I'm going to go and ride it at some point. In fact, I know when I'm going to do it, but you'll see it very soon. And then the very last one is a video that I've not put out yet, and it'll be out next week. It was from when me and Julia Elliott, we've been bikepacking in Scotland. The second video of that series is going to be 4 videos. The second one, it is just a bit of a shambles, so I hope you'll enjoy that. But that's like another thing that has just gone wrong. There was just a lot that went wrong. So I hope you will enjoy that and learn from our mistakes. And I hope you'll have fun watching these incidents unfold. And yes, let me know your like worst day on a bike or your toughest thing or something that went wrong that can give us all a bit of reassurance that it doesn't always go to plan. Because it is funny. I think you learn the most when they don't go to plan. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next video. All those videos will be linked below. Okay, bye. Goodbye.